competition so far. We're moving a lot of guys around, seeing who can do what to help the team. So I've been encouraged over the first couple of days of practice. The guys are playing hard, they're competing, and it's been fun to watch.
Who are the key guys competing for those spots?
You have Jonathan Moxie, you have Cleishon Page, you have Brian Douglas, you have Mercy Maston.
And then losing Deonza, did you move someone to nickel? Someone else to nickel?
Yeah, we shift some guys around. Cameron Hartsfield's playing there now, and he's been doing a good job so far here in fall camp, and we're rotating some other guys through. So we'll have plenty of options.
Got Jeremy and Darian back and played a ton of football at safety, but obviously the secondary didn't play at the level you guys would have liked last year. What do you need to see from them this year to sort of take another step in their games?
Those guys have played a lot of football. I think for those guys, just learning our system, how we want them to play. And I think the main thing for those guys is being able to be the quarterback back there and make the calls and be able to play fast. So they've been progressing really well. I'm really encouraged, and those kids, they're great kids and want to learn. So we're excited about it.
So what you're asking them to do different than what they did before?
It's similar. Obviously some different technique things. Obviously the way we play certain things is different. And so, those kids have taken a liking to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing them develop and seeing them go out there August 28th.
What do those two guys bring to the field that you like?
Leadership. They played a lot of football. They've been in a lot of battles. They've seen a lot of different scenarios. So they're able to understand formations and see splits and things like that and kind of have a good idea of the type of plays that the offense is going to run. So it's a pleasure to have them back there.
And in particular, you're emphasizing with those guys to get better this fall?
I think just digesting the play really fast with their eyes and then being able to play fast. So, the one thing, as the DB coach, when you guys see the DBs, I want them to play fast, I want them to play physical, and I want them to play hard. And so, those kids are starting to recognize the plays pretty quick, and they're starting to play pretty fast.
Does having a guy like Dylan Sumner-Gardner right behind them give a little extra oomph to those veterans to stay sharp?
I think it's a group of guys. I think you have Chancellor James also is doing a great job. You got Dylan Lukehart, who's played some football, that's pushing those guys, and then, you got Dylan Sumner-Gardner also. So it's a lot of those guys that are out there competing. We have Taylor Loeffler, who also played. So it's a big group, and those guys are competing. And the one thing they know is we're not afraid to change the depth chart.
Dylan, everybody said fit in very well in the spring. What have you seen from him sort of making that transition from high school to this level?
For who?
For Dylan.
Dylan's done a great job. He's still 17 years old, and so the one thing about Dylan is he's a great kid. Those kids like him. He likes them, and they get along really well. So, for him, it's just, he should still be in high school or just getting done, and he's been here all spring. So it's continuing for him to learn the playbook, learn our checks and things that we need to make. But I'm encouraged by him. He studies and he wants to be great, so I'm excited.
When you compare him to some of the other younger guys that have came in just in fall camp, how much more advanced is he? How much did he benefit from getting here earlier?
I think he benefited a ton. If you look at it, our freshman guys who didn't come for the spring, they've been here for a month, and so really they've only had with us, this was their 5th practice. And so for Dylan, this is his 18th practice. And so, he really has 2 weeks of actual practice time with our coaches, with our players going full speed. So it's not new to him. From day one, he was used to the speed of how spring and stuff went. So it's been a pleasure to have him.
What's his role this season?
That'll be determined over the next couple of weeks. All those guys are still competing. We'll have a plan for him. He's going to play on special teams. He's going to help us a bunch. He's going to play on defense. And for us and him, it's figuring out the role to put him in so he can have the most success.
Dante Dion's a guy who made a lot of big plays last year. What kind of role do you think he'll have this season?
Dante will be a leader back there for us. He's a tremendous player. The one thing I really like about Dante is he really, really studies. And so, I like him. He's competitive. He wants to be great. And so he'll be a leader back there. The kid started, this will be his 3rd season, and he's made a ton of plays. And he wants to be great also. So it's good having a lot of guys back there with experience. There's no question.
In the limited amount we've gotten to watch, it seems like it's a really competitive group, and in the one-on-one drills, there's a lot of trash talking, a lot of, it seems like the competitiveness is there. Is this group going to play with an edge to them, you think, back there?
Yeah, we want them to play with the edge, and I want them to be very competitive. That's one of the things we preach. And so I want those kids to go out and compete. We tell them we don't have to talk about it. I just want them to go out there, and when they're out there, I want them to go out, take a chance, go make great plays, because I think the great ones will do that. And I don't want to restrict them in any means. I want them to go out and play hard and fast and compete and lay it all on the line.
We haven't had a chance to talk with Brian Douglas yet, but what have you kind of seen from him? Last year coming into fall camp, he was kind of seen as one of the guys that was going to start, was going to kind of be a focal point of that secondary, and now he's fighting for a job.
I think it just shows, that we're a competitive group, and so guys are going to push each other. And Brian can be right back in that same role, and those kids know that. And so, my main thing is we need to get through the first 2 scrimmages and see how it all plays out. But it's a competitive group, and, I want them to go out there, and like I tell them, I want them to take what they get. So, go out there and take your reps, earn your reps, and those kids are doing it. So I'm excited.
What are the biggest things you want to see improve in the next 3 weeks before the Ole Miss game?
Really just our communication, really communicate so that we're on the same page as the linebackers and we can make all the checks and, continue to play fast. That's going to be a point of emphasis. We want those kids to play fast and we want them to play physical. And we're not going to slow them down. And so, I'd like to just see us continue to progress on communicating here the next couple weeks.
You've been around Marcel in a lot of situations over the years. What's he brought to this position, being the defensive coordinator here?
He's brought an edge to our defense. Marcel, he's an attacking, physical guy by nature. And so he's brought that edge where, those kids, we want them to play fast, we want them to play physical. And so we don't want them to back down, slow down, or lay down. And so we want them to continue to go out there and play. And it's been great having Marcel. He's been through it. He's coached the secondary. It's been great for me. He's a shoulder that I can lean on. He's been very helpful to me, so I'm looking forward to see the things he'll do. He'll be great.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from him over, either as a player, as a coach, or over the years? What's the biggest thing you've taken from him?
Really it's just a process and continue to develop. We have to continue to develop these kids. They can have good days, they can have bad days, but as their position coach, you just got to continually get them to progress each day. And so for me, it's just, continue to push them to see improvements. And if we gradually continue to improve day by day, we'll be just fine.
We've seen some of these pass-happy offenses in the Mountain West. Is it nice to have some extra options at cornerback? And do you feel like, you can't throw an extra cornerback out on the field to combat that?
Yeah, it's good to have a deep group. And, if you look at the group, really a lot of them have played a lot of football. So it helps us a ton. We're going to be able to roll guys in and out. We're going to be able to move guys around. Having all those kids in the same room is great because, they're interchangeable parts. And so they understand what everybody's doing. They're starting to understand where their help and things like that are. So, I'm excited about them.
You're working with punt returners too, right?
Yes.
Who do you like in that group?
We have Shane Rhodes, obviously, who was the punt returner last year. We got Dante Dion. Those 2 kids have, they're tremendous with the ball in their hands. We got Terrell Johnson. He's also back there with us. He's made great strides from spring to fall. So it's a good group. I'm excited about them as well.
One more about Dante. I think we kind of look at the roster every year and see if he's going to gain any weight. And he seems to have a tough time doing it, but he still kind of elevates his game. I don't know, your thoughts on a guy, again, continues to play the game at 152 pounds or whatever it is.
Well, he's heavier than what he's ever weighed right now. I can't tell you what that is, but he's the heaviest he's ever been. But the one thing about the kid is he's competitive, and it's not all about size. There's a lot of 6'2" guys out there that can't make some of the plays that he can make. So, he's very, very competitive. I've been on him to gain weight. He has gained weight, and we're going to continue to work on that.
Thanks, Coach.